Good evening, it's Saturday and we find ourselves here in time to do the next chunk of my net curtain. That's the word I was looking for. It's been a strange day. I can't quite place what's entirely strange about it, but something seems strange. So, bear with me if I'm slightly off colour today and slightly out of sorts, but we will do our best to do some more lace and pretend that the world is normal. So, here we go. Pillow's a little bit further forward than normal. Let's shunt it back slightly. Hello, how are you? I know that feeling. I'm alive. Possibly. Yeah. I've got some washing on. I know it's a bit late, but I live in a detached house on my own, so frankly, I can. Knowing that I was going to be up, so I have put some washing on because I suddenly remembered I really need to do the washing. What are you doing, Pup? Hello, little miss. Hello. Rory's been annoying because... Hey, Mouse Bandit, how are you? I'm okay. It's been a weird day today and I can't really identify why. So, on some news. I have found shorter sticks, so like half sticks, so that when we do the big one, I can put the 4 on a stick and then move the sticks around rather than trying to move bobbins around, and so that should help. Yes. So yes, at the end of the stream yesterday, we all went to visit Kalen, and Kalen's a really nice guy. He is the happiest, nicest guy I can picture, and it made me worry about how I am on camera, because I am not a happy, cheery person. I struggle to pretend to be a happy, cheery person, and I feel it's putting people off. And I don't know kind of what to do, because I mean, I don't expect everyone to love this. I don't expect people to come at all. But at the same time, for those who come because they're interested, I don't overly want them put off by me. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, when I did some gaming streaming originally, I didn't speak on camera. It was just the game, and I would type back. And everyone moaned because, well, they wanted to hear me. It didn't help. Let's just say numbers did not go up when I got a microphone. So I don't know. I kind of almost want to go mute. But that's really difficult because, well, as we all know, crafting tends to lead you to swearing. So you can't really go mute and have the bobbing noises and craft because, well, the swearing comes out. So it's a bit awkward. Well, I could try harder. No. No, but I think it often surprises me how many people have dropped into the stream. So quite often, you know, after the stream ends, Twitch will send me a message saying, you know, here's your stats, right? And while I'm not in it for the money, so it's not, you know, oh, I want to be the next Asmon Gold or whatever, right? I'm certainly never going to be a Kardashian. But at the same time, when you see that, say, 60, 70 people came in, but your average viewers was like 3 or 4, something I'm doing must be putting them off. And I don't know what it is. And it's not like you can make them do an exit interview either, you know. Please explain why you left. And in some ways, I find that really kind of depressing because, you know, here I am, my average viewer count is rarely double digits, right? And I stream most days. I randomly have a day off. I do one late night, which is this one, and then sure, earlier ones in the week because, well, generally I'm working and I've got to get up in the morning. But I almost don't see how I can be doing anything better than anybody else because, well, I'm clearly not. And so if they're doing worse, well, I do think that this kind of view intrigues people as to what the fuck is that, right? And they probably click on it and go, oh, actually, that's actually boring, and go away again. Because, well, I do feel that to a large extent, and I do see the stupidity in my next statement, is that crafting is not really a spectator sport. I mean, sport's not really a spectator sport for a large number of them. For many of us, watching sport, I'd rather watch paint dry. Now, go there and be involved, know someone in it and go to support them. There are lots of sports that are fun to be at because there is the whole crowd, being and feeling part of it. But to watch it on TV is like watching paint dry. And frankly, that covers nearly every sport on the planet. And some of the things we call sport, well, a bit tenuous. I mean, when you have tiddlywinks at the Olympics, it's not really sport now, is it? I mean, it's a skill, but at the same time, is it sport? I don't think we have target shooting as part of the Olympics. That's kind of a similar vein to... Anyway, despite that, I do appreciate that, it is difficult because what I do is arguably exceptionally repetitive, especially as we're only on inch 25 out of 273. There are only 2 motifs, so it's going to kind of look the same every couple of days. So it's hardly on the edge of your seat stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So with all of that in mind, I kind of get why people wouldn't stay because, well, yawn, seen it. But, and frankly, for those of you who do stay and come regularly, you're nutters, because, well, you are. You're my kind of nutters, but you're nutters. It is, so I don't know, I guess it's made me think about what I can do to make the channel more appealing to others. But at the same time, I don't really want to have on-screen games in the corner, and I don't really want to have I don't want to be fake because I can't keep that up. So I really don't know. I really don't. Now, I would be playing you some better music, but right now, I have on the end of a film. And, well, I kind of want to finish the end of the film, but you know what? Doing this is slightly distracting, so I've got a feeling that that's actually not going to happen. So let's pause the film, and I can update that. Yeah, because it's too much stress and hassle. I mean, I'm not an outgoing peoply person, which makes me a less sensible person to be doing this. I mean, if you're a really outgoing person, something like this is totally in your stride. I haven't left my house for nearly a year. This is how outgoing I am. Yeah, so funnily enough, we have been streaming actually about a year as well. So, actually, it's over a year I haven't been out of the house. Well, when I say I haven't been out of the house, I've walked my neighbours. Kind of it, right? Because I like my neighbours. My neighbours are cool. Let's get some music on, because, well, get some slightly more cheerity music on. Actually, as you're alive and talking, Mars Bandit, can you do me a favour? And if I change the sound over, hang on, audio mixer, clickety. Do you hear any music or sound? Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems when you do, by the way, if you can hear... Right, what can you hear now? That's the key question, other than me. Can you hear anything now? I don't know how that works then. I've been trying to work out how my music thing is working. Because occasionally it kind of does weird shit. Let's go with this today. And unlike the background music you were listening to, I can't work out what makes you hear this and me hear this and not the other music, if that makes any sense. So as long as this isn't too loud, we shall listen to some upbeat 80s or whatever it is. Is it too faint? Because obviously lots of people like listening to the bobbins. But it should break up any bits where I just sit here staring into space and not saying anything. And my problem is I'm not very good at talking without someone to talk to. I'd make a terrible radio DJ. I need someone to talk to. Okay. Slightly surprised. What about now? Because I don't want to make it too much louder. Okay, cool. Because of course it's very difficult because it's only played directly while I'm live and not recorded. I can't review it. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. The only thing I can think of is that I've got no auto balancing thing on it, so the only thing that should be fading in and out is me speaking, frankly. It's a constant-ish. I mean, obviously the music itself varies, but I'm not doing anything to change its volume at any point. Weird. And that I would understand, but I'm not doing anything to make it do that. And of course it stays constant in my ear. So it's kind of weird for me that it would vary for you, to be honest. But that's the way life goes, you know. Yeah, I don't think this is that kind of thing, because you'd still need the software to do it for you. It should be a software thing. And, well, I haven't really got software for this, so... And OBS shouldn't be going, you know, it's not like this is designated speech kind of thing. And so prioritise this or anything, because OBS doesn't do that. It may be it's faint enough. We're talking about the background music. So it may be that when I speak, because it's loud enough, you concentrate on my voice. And it's not because I'm not fighting over the music, that I am loud enough to you that the music is there. And the bobbin noise, again, is maybe a bit more forefront to you because you know what the music is. Fair enough then. Yeah, hearing aids often do prioritise voice. They have a thing for that, don't they? Yeah. I know how that goes. So, yeah. Maybe, but again, I don't really have any software to do that. But that's a good point. I don't have anything to really do that kind of stuff, but... Oh no, I can understand that. Now, that's not right. That doesn't look right at all. Or is it? No, something doesn't look right. That's... That I do appreciate, and and to be honest, the mic is just there, pointed at the bobbins. So, mainly because, well, I'm not renowned for my quietness. Mika gets me. Basically, mics are directional, so if you're not shouting at it, yeah. So, the question is, what the feck is going on here? Because, well, something's going on here. And I think that's the problem. There we go. Let's try that. Still looks slightly wonky, but it might work out when we move on and do the next bits. Let's have a look. Don't forget you can move the camera and zoom in and zoom out if you want. This looks better. Yep, that's working out better. Well, I do have the music on one, voice on another, in OBS. So, for example, let me do this. Right, so here you can see I've got That's my Amazon Music playing at the top, and it's fading off now, so it'll go off. This is me talking in the middle. This is the generic background music that gets recorded for Twitch VODs and for YouTube. And then obviously there's a Twitch alerts thing at the bottom for when they kick off. So I do have independent kind of control, so I can vary the Amazon Music compared to the my voice, and without cranking up my voice and blowing that out, or so I don't know. It just to be honest, not a sound engineer. I understand, but I'm not a sound engineer. So if it's doing complicated things, don't really know. Yeah, as you may know, Mick and Ketsumi, I have dabbled in many things, and I have a fairly wide understanding of far too much. Hence, when we were talking the other day to someone about they were making one of those plastic melters to meld them together. I know how that works. I know enough electronics to have some understanding. Because, well, I'm just weird, frankly. Anyway. So, it is like everything. I have a general understanding of a lot of things, but not... I'm certainly not an expert. Well, I don't claim to be an expert at anything, frankly, including my job. So, I also discover with every turn that apparently I am way more intelligent and understanding than a lot of people seem to be, but that still doesn't make me an expert. That just makes them dumber, Well, I think one of the things that when you learn something, you go through a load of stages, don't you? You go through the stage of, I know nothing. Then you pick up enough and get going, and kind of, it's a bit like being a teenager. You think you're invincible, you think you know everything, you think you know what's best, you know this, you've looked at that, you've studied this, right? And then once you come out of that, you realise actually how little you do know. And a master knows that they don't know it all. And a master of none on top of that. There is an element of, if you have got a wide knowledge, sometimes you realise how much more depth there is to the subject than a lot of people maybe appreciate. And as a result of that, you then know that you only actually know like 20% of it. But compared to them, you know everything. But that's because they don't know how much they don't know, if that makes any sense. So I do know that that's definitely a thing, because I see that at work. Well, this is kind of what I do well at work. I am crisis girl, right? The best skill I have is being autistic. Because it's your problem, not my problem, so I'm not worried by it. I appreciate that it's really important to you, and I want to help. But I will also go to... If I've done everything I can, I'll sleep later. It's not a problem. I won't lose sleep over it. But at the same time, if there are still things to try, I will want to try them. And it makes me very good for crises at work, because I don't panic. That we had an example a couple of years ago now, but we had an example where a change was implemented. It wasn't notified, but a change was implemented. It had not gone out on the change notification sheet, so no one knew it was coming. And, well, every server had their networking reset. Which, to a large extent, yeah, whatever. Except that it meant it affected everything, so that lots of things then lost access to discs. Now, we're not quite sure how the discs lost access, but somehow discs lost access. And as a result of losing disk access, lots of things got really upset. Computers don't like that. They can cope with a lot of things going on, but having their discs ripped out is generally not one of them, especially when they're using it. And we had, I don't know, 400 servers going in. Oh, and they did it again 2 weeks later, so they didn't learn from this event. But I got everyone in a group chat. I made them form a queue. I knew some of the things were more important than some of the other things. So it was kind of like, well, your shit needs your shit, so we need your shit up first. We'll do you first. Please, we'll sit in, right, I will ring you and we will have a private conversation, because, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And we brought their server up, and because they couldn't log into them, because the server they used to log into everything was also screwed up by the event, I did all of the starting of their app for them. I just followed their instructions. I did point out that they were stupid on a number of occasions. So I've logged in as root. Can you sudo to root? I am root. No, you need to sudo to root. Yeah, I am root. Just keep going. Yeah. But we got all of their stuff back up really, really quickly. And I got highly commented for keeping calm, being collect, sorting it all out and doing the do. But that's the kind of thing I do best. Because I have a good understanding of a lot of things, and I'm quite able to quickly prioritise things, put things together, form a queue, and I'll deal with you in order. If once you have been done and you discover something's not right, come back later and we can look at it, because it may be that one of the things that will happen next will fix it. So don't want to, you know, once you've done your bit, you've said it's up now, I'll move on to the next dude, because I've got quite a few dudes to go. And as I say, I had to do this twice, because they did production first, just to really make life good. So it wasn't like they broke non-prod and we all kind of went, well, you're an idiot, but never mind, eh? No. They broke prod first and then did it again in non-prod. Gotta love people who do that. Now, but it was one of those things, is that's the kind of, I've seen, because I've changed companies at the beginning of the year, I got outsourced, so my job got moved to another company, so I'm now in the other company, still doing the same job. And I've noticed that it is weird that everyone who used to work for the old company in our department had a very similar mindset. When shit hits the fan, it doesn't matter whether it's yours or not. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Fix it. Get everyone back up and running. Then, you know, start looking as to who needs to be taken outside and out for a kicking, right? The new lot don't have the same follow on. It's almost like they've never worked in a more industrial setting. So I'm not talking commercial, I'm talking industrial, where not being able to make shit is fundamentally the most critical thing in the world. So if they can't make stuff, the whole site is a waste of time. So should that throw the tiniest wibble, that you've got, you know, you've got a problem. And they just, but they also don't have a wide understanding of, well, a lot, to be honest. And I've struggled with that. I've struggled with that quite hard. Now, it's, as you say, it's not necessarily that they're stupid people. They may be specialist in a thing, but it's this little bit here in a whole world of picture. Whereas I've got my glasses off and I've looked at the whole picture, and I've got a bit of experience in most areas of the picture, in the sense of, you know, I was the firewall editor at our company for a bit. I was married to a network guy, so we've had network conversations, and I still don't really understand the layering of networks, but I don't need to, so that's fine. I do know how net masks work, I understand VLANs and all of that. I just don't really understand the layering. It's a bit like the Windows boot order. There's a mnemonic for that, but what good does it do you if you can't change it? So I don't need that in my head, right? So I haven't filled that in my head. But these guys, they don't seem to see familiarity in something that's similar to something they've done, but marginally different. It's almost like if you change the colour of the Windows background, they don't know what to do. And you're like, they're not that bad. Believe me, they're not that bad. But it feels like it on occasions, and you're kind of going... I mean, there was one, and he was following some written instructions on how to do something. And he'd been shown how to do it, because I was on that call. I'm falling asleep, but I was on that call because I was casually interested as to how it worked. Because, again, I like adding to my how it all hangs together picture. And he couldn't do it. He said, oh, I can't do this, I can't find this. And I went, well, it was under here. Look, click, click, click. Look, there it is. Oh, how did you know that? Well, because we were shown that, you know, a week ago in the... Oh, were we? You were the one supposed to be learning how to do this. I was there because I was interested, not, well, remotely interested. I mean, you know, I need to point out, once I log off for the day, my interest has, you know, vaporised intensely. And, you know, I don't tend to capture these things and spend my personal time worrying about them. So, but if I can remember that, for the man who was supposed to be taking over the job, what do you mean you didn't notice, or you didn't write it down, or were you sleeping through it? I mean, so yeah, I've been struggling with that, and to be honest, that's part of the reason I'm off sick at the moment. Because I'm not sick as in dying or anything, but I've been really, really stressed because I'm finding it very hard to work with, I've kind of peopled out. I'm kind of, I've, when you've shown someone 6 times how to do something, and I can tell you now, my dad could have done this, and my dad was technologically dinosaur of the year. My dog could do it if it had thumbs, right? I mean, he'd certainly try. These guys don't. And I've struggled with that a lot. And my bullshit meter had broken. It had just kind of exploded. The pressure of bullshit had backed up and it jettisoned me into the universe. And I'm kind of free floating around a little bit at the moment. But I am feeling a little bit better. But obviously knowing that there is this whole build-up effect to go back to, because of course, despite showing them all the things that I do, and having written them all down, someone deleted a load of my documentation. So there's going to be, oh, we couldn't find your documentation. Yeah, well, I didn't delete it. So you need to sort that out with whoever deleted it. Because I wrote it all down. If you've deleted it, what's happening now is that they are somewhat struggling. And so I've got an itchy ear. And as a result of struggling, they are going to be mad at me when I get back, because they will find ways to try and make out it's my fault, which of course is part of the reason that I am here where I am, off sick, because it is not my fault. Now, as I said, it is difficult. You know, some of the things that they are struggling with are really not things you would expect someone to struggle with. But you know, it is difficult, you know. And as I say, I showed them something 6 times, and then because I was off sick, no, I was on holiday. That's right, I was on holiday, and I'd had taken the week off because I could. They tried to ring me because they couldn't do it without me. Do you think you could move a folder? Because all they had to do was move a folder. It's not a pre-named folder. You have to pick one to move. But just pick one. It can't be laying kind of. Pick one, move it. Doesn't actually matter which one. As long as it's big enough to make you the space you need, just move it. So I did, and this was kind of the straw that broke my back. To be honest, was I found it very difficult that I got in the crap, and then there was we need a meeting about this. No, we don't need a meeting about this. You need to slap someone, you know. You just no. I have explained this. I've seen what they wrote down. What they wrote down was the right stuff. If they can't follow their own notes, back off, you know. Leave me out of it. And I watched for 4 hours as one of them tried to move a folder and couldn't. And that was just too much. I have to admit, have you seen the slap championships where they kind of have like really big, like, you know, world's strongest man lookalikes, and they bitch slap them like so hard that it's impressive the head of the opponent doesn't just go round and round and round and round, and that's exactly how I felt, is that because we're not allowed to do that, I need the time off, right? Because if I was allowed to do that, we'd made some progress by now. The problem I have, in my own opinion, and, you know, I can't say it's the truth, but from my own feelings, is that my manager thinks the world of them and doesn't think the world of us. And so as a result, I wish, but HR would have me for that. I'd also have to see them. We all work from home, so. But one of the things that I have, as I said, the problem I have is that I don't think. This doesn't feel right. No, something's not right here. Let's undo this. Even though that looks like the right one to do. But yeah, because we joined a company that already existed, it's not like they outsourced us by forming a new company. We were outsourced to an existing company. In my mind, and this could be the autistic, paranoid, you know, screwed up me that has the feelings, feels like all previous, let's call them the original employees, because we are the new, even though most of us have been in IT longer than they've been alive, we as the original company employees don't feel entirely accepted by the new, that the new lot, as in the existing one in the company, so the new company that's come in to do this, but the new people are, well, they feel, you know, that the company seems to think that they are previously tried and tested, and the reason that we must have been outsourced is because we weren't doing the job right. This is how it feels. And so therefore, if we do something differently, we're wrong. The fact that we've shown them, lots of them, how to do things lots of times, explained things to them, and they just dismiss it, but they can do no wrong. That's how it feels, is that they can do no wrong. And this is the bit that kind of broke the meter, really. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because rather than my manager going, didn't you show them? Yes, 6 times. Right. Well, what's the problem then? I don't know, because, you know, well, one of them demonstrated they had the mind span of a goldfish. So, you know, let's really be honest here. And couldn't handle the pressure of needing to fix it during the time window of the change. Takes like 3 seconds. 4 hours. And he couldn't manage it. But they won't hear no ill against them. It's our fault for not showing them well enough. Well, it's 2 commands, dude. Well, technically 3. One to decide which one's big enough. Pick one, move it, and then leave a kind of a post-it note saying, I was here. Go over here. That's it. All there is to it. 4 hours. And they hadn't managed to do anything other than they thought they'd picked a folder, but then couldn't remember where it was. 10 seconds later. And I tried really, really hard not to kind of overly babysit them, because if you do it for them, they don't learn. And one of the phrases you often hear is, we haven't got the confidence in doing that yet. Well, no, because you haven't done it yet. All you've done is watch someone who already knows how to do it. All you have gained confidence is that, yes, I know how it works. Or whoever you're watching knows how it works. You are not going to gain confidence by watching. You have to try it. You have to go off and do it. But they don't. I can tell you that now. I've secretly been looking at my help desk queue. Yeah, they've not paid any attention at all. But I'm now off till the 9th of October, courtesy of my doctor. So, I have a few more weeks to regroup brain cells. A couple of weeks to regroup brain cells. And sort myself out a bit. Try and find my inner calm. Well, and this is the thing. I know it's not just a me thing. And we've all dealt with it. I mean, most people who've worked for a number of years and who have become, I don't know, not a resident expert, but anything above bottom feeder, as in you read the script on the screen. Well, and this is the thing. I do work in IT, right? But the thing is I don't mind when our users are stupid, because, well, they're users, right? When IT people are that stupid, and many of them are paid more than me, I get upset by that. And I know I shouldn't, and it shouldn't matter if they're paid more than me or not, but if you're being paid more than me because you've been deemed clevers, and this is a normal thing to do, such as, to give you an idea, our manager, we have a system that you don't log into servers directly, you use a system to log in, right? they wanted how to log into that. Well, there's a username and a password. Yeah, I need you to document that. Yeah, it is the my computer's not working, right? The screen won't turn on, right? Is it plugged in? I don't know, I can't see. Why not? Well, there's no power. It is that kind of, seriously, dude. And to me, I don't mind my users being like that. I really don't. But what I mind, bear in mind, of course, my users are all IT people, because they are the application teams. I do mind when some of them have that level of kind of, I'm sorry, you're in charge of an application, you're deemed a higher grade and senior to me, and yet you... And the thing is I think, like everything, everyone can deal with levels of things for a short period of time. You can put up with pretty much anything for a short period of time. It's... Well, this is the 10th month. Okay? Let that sink in slowly. 10 months, these people have been supposedly helping me do my job, and they still cannot perform the basic functions. Well, that's kind of why I'm off, is because, well, if I didn't go off, I would be either quitting or firing, so... It'd more likely be firing, so... Yeah, I would do something. It's so hard not to be unprofessional when, you know, someone that is deemed to be the, you know, kind of like God Almighty personified can't do the simplest thing, and it's more like, you know, he's the owner's son in IT, and basically you have to do all of his work for him, but he will get all the glory. No, can't, you know. There are things that I will take. By the way, I haven't got that. None of them are related to the owners, so that's fine. But there is just so much you can take before your brain just kind of goes. You have three choices: quit, get fired, or step away. Well, I tried really hard on the 4-hour moving file folder experience day. I tried really hard because I recognised that the person who was doing it was getting really, really stressed, even though they couldn't remember 3 letters for more than 10 seconds, because it was 3 letters, by the way. And that's fine. But then go take a walk, go calm down, because you've been, you may not be the brightest person in the history of the world, you're not Stephen Hawking, but you are not necessarily this level of dumb. Go take a walk, clear your head, and come back. So they took a break, but they didn't take a actual break. They went off and did somebody else's tickets they didn't need to do. And when they came back, they were no better because they hadn't actually had a break. And it was like, okay, but this is 4 hours late. I'm going to have to stop you and say, I am taking this off you, and no, I'm not going to show you what I've done, because I have already shown you how to do this, and we just need this finished. And I'm not going to sit here explaining it all to you again in noddy language, because I've already done that. And I think they got a bit upset that I wasn't going to, like, walk them through it yet again. I don't know. I mean, I've talked about, for example, we all know that crafting can bring out the swearing in you, right? You know, if you're doing this and you try and snip this thread and accidentally cut another one or something, you know, the swearing that comes out is astronomical and you just don't need it, right? And I've always said that if you drive for more than about 30 minutes and you haven't found someone who's a dipshit and that you want to kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? Can you just like pull over and get out of the car and get off the road? If you have not had a level of road rage due to serious stupidity of someone, I'd love to know where you live, because, well, other than the darkest depths of Africa where there are no roads, I mean, how, right? If you drive around, swearing at other drivers is reasonable. The true road rage is when you get out of your car to go and explain it to them in physical terms. You can sit in your car where they can't see or hear you, effing and blinding at their stupidity, screaming at the accelerator's the one on the right, and, you know, all of those kind of moments, right? You know, use indicators, whatever their sin is, right? You know, indicating right for the last 30 minutes and then suddenly turns left, or worse, in the UK, indicates left, so just turning off, and then suddenly veers right as you were going to overtake them or something. You know, these people exist, right? And it is that kind of person that you just sit there going, you are the person who causes 1,000 accidents because people have lost their crap sitting behind you and want to get round you and do something a bit stupid before they drive up your butt, right? Or ram you off the road, right? They are the kind of people that, you know, if they looked in their rearview mirror once or twice, there would be a queue of, like, upside down cars and angry fists because, you know, they are the cause of it. And you get them at work to an extent. You get people who go around thinking that, you know, they're the greatest person on earth, doing their, you know, allegedly doing their job, and behind them are hundreds of people who, the moment you mention them, I go, oh, no. See an email from them, oh God, no, I'm not going to open that, I'm not in the mood for that. You know, if you have that effect on people, which, don't get me wrong, we have people, I could name them, but that would be very unprofessional, but, you know, we have people that instantly you hear the name and it's like, oh, what now? Because they are constantly causing problems, doing dumb things. One of them is currently in the poo, and we are happy because, well, they've been doing it for over 20 years, and it's about time karma bit them in the butt. And I'd like to think that it would, but I also seem to think that they probably got pictures of someone and are protected somehow, because they've been doing it for 20 years and they've got away with it for 20 years. So, you know, if you've got away with it that long, the company's clearly not values what they do over how they do it, which is fine. But don't be blaming everyone else then when some of their stuff goes a bit rogue and no one knows anything about it, because, well, they're a team of one and, well, they're off sick at the moment. And it's not me. But my work bestie has been spending many hours trying to fix this crap for them. And, well, it's going to go pretty bad, I think. But we shall see. Part of the reason that I am not back till the 9th of October is because my work bestie is now on holiday. And I believe is somewhere in I didn't ask them where the fuck they were going. That was rude of me. I normally ask them where they're going. But they're somewhere over in America. Oh, they will be, probably by now. Must be. Doesn't take that long to fly there. So, yeah. They got stuck in Heathrow with... there was a cyber attack, apparently, on the booking systems. And they got stuck. They had problems checking in and stuff due to that. The last message I got from them was basically that the plane was going to take off any moment, but like all the seats next to them were empty. What a shame. And, you know, I can appreciate that. So, But I forgot to ask them where they were going. Got a feeling it'll either be Florida or near Cincinnati. One or the other. Because they're places they talk about a lot. But it is always hard, I think, when I don't view anything that I do as difficult, because it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like I keep saying this. You know, I know you guys go, it's all voodoo and it's magic and I couldn't do it. But the honest answer is, if I gave you a pillow and said, right, repeat these 2 moves, you would be able to, right? Because you're not stupid people. And as a result of that, you would be able to do this. Hang on, nothing worked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, it did. Would you be making this? Probably not for the first day, but technically, no reason why not. Hi, EP. Hi, EP. So yeah, I think an awful lot of jobs, it's a case of, it's not hard. Now, there is the story of the man who got flown out to somewhere and, you know, was paid like, you know, 40 grand or something ridiculous for the privilege. And they kind of went, and he walked up, got out a hammer, whacked it, and it was fixed. And they said, but we've paid 40 grand for that. And he went, well, yeah, because you've got, you know, the cost of getting me here and all the rest of it. So that's considerable cost. But then there is the experience of knowing that all it needs is a hammer and where to whack it. Just whacking it is not going to be enough. You need to know where to whack it. And so, like a lot of things, I do know that is kind of thing, is that we're all capable of hitting something with a hammer. But would we have hit it in the right place? Almost certainly not. And so that is the bit. But sometimes you can't teach experience. You can only teach how. You cannot teach experience. Experience is in the doings. And because you can't teach it, the only way you will get experience of it is to do it. And it seems a common theme that this lot go, oh, we're not confident because they're not experienced, but they're not going to be experienced because they're not confident, so they're not doing it. And so, as I said, all they get confident at is that somebody else knows how to do it. And it's not just limited to me, it is a united departmental thing. The problem with mine is that mine's slightly less forgiving. And so doesn't do the are you really sure shit. It'll do the dumbest thing and go, yeah, I'll do that for you. Stupid, but I'll do it. And it doesn't even mention that it's stupid. It just kind of rolls its eyes quietly in its own head and does it. And then you've completely buggered something up. And getting it back can be really, really difficult, depending on what you've done. So basically, I've got a couple more weeks of not, as the phrase goes. quick look. So yeah, got nearly 3 weeks before I'm back at work. So hopefully my brain cells will recoup and have taken enough deep breaths that they are purged of this immediate, oh God, no, now what, kind of moment. And that I will be able to be more sympathetic to those who are not understanding and find it within my soul to explain it for the 20th time and hope that the 20th time's the charm. But as Einstein very correctly pointed out, insanity is he's repeatedly doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. So how's the streaming going then, EP? I've noticed that, as I've been going to bed, you've been streaming some games late at night. So how's the streaming going? Cool. It is, and I think one of the problems, and I'm sure you find this as well, is that if the chatters aren't chatting, it's really hard to talk about anything sensible. Yeah, and I mean, well done. I mean, I know I was kind of, I won't say moaning, but I was kind of viewing my channel status earlier, in the, as I've said many times, I don't expect any of you to come. I really don't. No, and as I said, I would make a terrible radio DJ because I cannot talk without feedback. Yes, I can do the, if you talk to me, I will hold a conversation with you. But if no one says anything, I don't really have a, you know, other than moany, whiny crap, I don't really have anything to talk about because I'm concentrating. And, you know, if I'm counting and stuff, I can't hold a conversation and count particularly. So, you know, and then of course, if I'm not talking and people aren't chatting, I just keep going, and I won't say forget that you're all there, but, you know, to an extent, I'm doing my thing, and I've got, you know, nothing I can say about it. So, other than I'm doing my thing, and I can sit there going, that doesn't feel right. It's because it's not. Let's undo that then. There's one too many. There we go. There we go. That's better. But if you don't say anything to me, I'll, rather than bore you crapless with endless, you know, witterings about nothing, and while some nothing, talking about nothing can be a good thing, there's nothing and, well, nothing, if you know what I mean. And that's not enough. There's only 2 here. Oh. One, 2, 3. But there's 3 going in. Oh, I see why. It's 'cause I went... Here's the 3rd one. There. That would have been a fuck up and a half, wouldn't it? Alright. I mean, other than yelling cross, twist, pin, I haven't really got a lot to say about what I'm actually doing, unless people come and ask questions. And so, on that matter, let me quickly pin a message. Hang on. Yes, I use StreamerBot. You could have asked me. Yeah. So, for example, hang on. I use StreamerBot, and I have a load of actions, and then I've also got I've got, but obviously got more than that. And then I've also got SpeakerBot, which is the thing that reads to me. And as you can see, it it. Well, and if you ever want me to sit down with you and work through a few bits, because, you know, maybe I've done it and you know, you want to reserve a few brain cells, you only have to ask. You know that, right? I mean, I'm not God at it, but I've managed to make it do what I want. And I helped someone else do what they want with it too, so clearly, you know. Well, this is it. And one of my struggles of today on that note was, let me show you. Slight detour for those of you who are not used to this shit. Hang on, let me fire it up first. There we go. Right. What do you mean? What were you whining about? Did I typo something? Yeah, it looks like I typoed something. Hang on. Yeah. I was just checking. We don't need any of that. I didn't ask you to save it. That's why. Stupid donut computer. Right. So, I have, ignore all of those because they disappear. I have a thing. It's really quite boring. And what I was working on today, so let me leave that turned on for a minute. So I have been playing around with this. Now, I need to make the thing a bit bigger, but if I turn the light back on, hang on, donk. Let me work out where I am. So if I move up a bit and I go stand next to this and turn it off again, right? You can see, oops, got to click in the window. You can see that she walks round the anvil. Now she needs a much bigger light source. Let's make her light source bigger, hang on. Do that, right? So she walks around and there's an anvil and there's the sword and up here is the cauldron, and all of this worked straight out of the box, which is great. I think. And then there was this box, and this box, well, this box wasn't working with the lighting. As you can see, like the lock isn't working, but the rest of the box now is. Now, I also had some other things that I put down. Or was this the only one that I'd done? No, the chest was the only one. But the chest, by default, didn't. And I could diagnose quickly why it didn't, which... Well, no, that wasn't the problem. Let me show you the lock and you'll see why. So, the lock, one of them, there it is Sprite's default. And there is no option to change it. So I couldn't easily change it. But what you can do is, down here, yeah, she says, trying to remember where the hides it. Runtime. It's one of these. Somewhere around here. Oh, it must be materials. There it is. If you now change that over. You had to change them to read right, of course, before you started. And of course, her. Have a little boy this time. There you go. Let's make his thing bigger. Hang on. Where is he? There he is. There he is. Right. So now, wherever this box is, there it is. The whole thing is behind there. But I didn't have to change the others. I had to change this one. And it kind of annoyed me. Because, same with the sword. Which is over here somewhere. By the way, I have a breadstick. And you can... and jab it. Alright. So I've been having a bit of fun with this. I'm not usually a 2D person, but but the lighting thing, again, as you know, my biggest weakness in Unity is lighting. The lighting stuff hates me intensely. But I've also been using the new UI toolkit shit, which also hated me. So I've had to do some work with that so that I could do things. So, for example, I don't normally do Unity events, but I wanted something that I could fiddle around with and kind of almost poke as I went. Well, actually, that's not the problem. The problem is... So, let me go find... Hang on. So let's pick that, find out where it is. Hang on. Props. Let's go to props. So let's say blue flower. I'm going to assume that the blue flower is the same. Right. Pop blue flower here. Right. Blue flower appears. Right. All of them, you need to set them to read write. And then in here, under blue flower, you find the magic thing and you then go down, find the sprite thing again in materials and go lit like this, and then it will work. And these flowers there, Beaker. But it can't see it because it's not got a wide enough thing. Hang on. Where's this girl? Where's boy? There he is. Let's make his light bigger. There he is. So now his light actually lights up the flower. I don't really want to do that to all of them. Doing that to all of them, slightly irritating. The other thing I've been doing, and God rest my soul, you know how much this pains me. As you know, I have the artistic talent of an idiot. The village idiot can outdo me and is Picasso in comparison. So I've been trying to get AI to generate me some... Exactly. Every step you take, you smack into a wall. And you're kind of like, oh, for fuck's sake. And you feel like one of those mice that goes round the maze by like headbutting walls and mapping them out. But as I said, I've been trying to get AI to generate some of the stuff. So the AI generated the grass. Let me show you a problem with that actually. Hang on. If you look... where is it? Here you go. If you look here, you can see this was supposed to be a seamless tile. Well, it kind of fucked that up. But it's not bad tile, it'll do. I mean, again, there's half a one there, and so it wasn't very good at it. But what I want it now to do, this is just my test square, is to generate some rocks to go around the outside. Dear Lord Almighty, is it really hard for it to make a square of rocks with a square in the middle? So the usual tile maps, so for example, if I go to pictures, you'll see some of the efforts. This was it. This is its entire tile map to go around the edge. Well, first of all, this is not going to be seamless because it's shadowed. Secondly, that's one square. This was one attempt, and the more I got it to refine it to say, no, I asked you to use the grass you generated and I had uploaded it. So then it made like entrances and exits so that you couldn't make a solid edge. But the moment I said fill this middle square in with yeah, I probably do, but as you know, I've got 12,000 of the little fuckers and I'm buggered if I know where to look. So as you can see, I had some fun getting it generating grass for me, alright? This was it trying to generate a rock border. That looks more wooden. This was the wooden square it gave me. Now, the wooden square is quite nice, and that does tile very well. But I want a, like, almost like this edge of the rock, but I then want, like, tiles of rock. A tile that I can seamlessly put round to make a bigger border. It can't handle that concept. It just, well, don't suppose it's going to show me the last conversation, is it? No. I closed it out of rage quitting. But it basically just, it didn't use this grass, so it's the wrong shade of green. It then put rocks in the middle, but that were completely different rocks to these round the rim rocks. They were just like a random rock texture. And then it also did the same to the square below. And you're like, it's not what I said. And the more I tried to make it fix it, it would go, oh yes, I can fix that. And then it would just start erroring, going, I'm sorry, I can't, I didn't manage to do that. You'll have to try again. And it's like, or it would say, yes, I've done that. Do you want me to do that? Yes. Well, here's one square. Right, well, what's the next one? What next one? Well, the one you said you were going to do. No, that was it. You said you were going to generate 9 squares. Because if you think about it, the middle square only needs to be the seamless continuation block, right? No, it can't handle tiles. It expects to make them 3D, as in kitchen tiles, not tile set. No matter what word you use. It's been driving me up the wall. And I had hopes for it because it did all right with the grass. But yeah. And the worst thing is you know roughly what you want it to look like. And we're not talking, oh, it's the wrong shade of green. I mean, yeah, it was the wrong shade of green. But that wasn't the most important problem. The problem was it didn't do what I fucking asked for. What I actually asked it to generate me was 9 tiles of grass that would seamlessly interact with each other so that they could be liberally scattered around. In the end, I had to say, make me a huge green square, but is a seamless tile. Well, it took a number of goes to get that. And again, it's that kind of... It feels like you spent 4 hours shouting at an awkward co-worker. And you're like, I need to walk away. I need to just, nap off, kill things in a game, and come back later. Because you're trying my patience. The worst thing is, as I say, is when it's kind of like, oh, I see what you mean. right? And then it just repeats the same image, and you're going, you said you understood, you stupid piece of... And it is, it becomes like the sat nav. You know, there you are, spitting and swearing at it, because it goes, take the third exit. Turn around when possible. You fucking said take this exit. I've now got to drive 20 miles because there's no turning around. I'll tell you in a couple of seconds. Hang on. I do have it. You're right. The problem is I think some of it is down to the fact that it's not... I think part of the problem I've got with my stuff is because it's not top down, it's not side on, it's kind of normal perspective, but it's 2D. So if you ask it to make like a wall to go round something, it just like farts, because I want it 2D. I want a tile set so I can make, like, you know, a building or an enclosure or whatever, and it just kind of goes and it can't generate a tile set, even though it knows what Unity is and a tile set is, because it can do tile sets. It also doesn't do tile sets. As I said, you know, many of the early tiles that it offered were distinctly not tiles. So let me go back to my desktop. So, for example, this was it doing a seamless set of 9 tiles. Well, that's not seamless. And what's this shit at the bottom? That's not going to make it seamless. I can't use this at the... I don't want, like, fucking awnings on it. This was better, but as you can see, it's slightly shaded, so they're lighter at the top and darker at the bottom. And I tried to make it kind of transparent, but I had to edit the transparency on it. It made me this, which I thought was quite a nice piece of grass, and it is actually kind of... No, it's not seamless, because that doesn't match the top. But this was kind of nice, but it was a bit too grassy. Again, this was great, but it gets darker at the bottom, so you can't tile it. It looks like tiles. I dismissed an awful lot of them because they look like this. This was kind of cool, but there's no vertical tiles. I didn't ask for flooring. I didn't ask for doors. I wanted wall. This kind of top one here, my mouse pointer disappears. And I know my mouse point is big enough, but it disappears. But this top left one here, the one my mouse is above, this one's all right. Where's the other one? Where's the one this side? There's a bottom one. Again, now, technically you could flip it, but then that's not going to look right either. I mean, this was kind of okay. But obviously you've then got to dig out all of the... I don't want the background. This was it having another go, which was a bit better, because obviously I can get rid of the black and make it transparent, and but it's still kind of... But that wall now looks really messed up here at the top. This doesn't look so bad, but this top one looks really weird. It doesn't look like the wall. It looks like... Well, it looks like one of those clackers that you have. And then this was it having another go. And this is its idea of a blank tile, by the way. Not an open door. And it's kind of like, what part of generating me some crap? Oh, I asked it for some stone. This wasn't too bad. This isn't too bad, but it looks a bit more moony than I had in mind. I mean, I kind of like this style cartoon stone. So, for example, that'd do, but it's a bit more realistic than my cartoony kind of current style. But you just kind of sit there going, I want basically this, because I made it again transparent, and I can use this because I can make like a top left, a top right, this is a 4x4, and I can make kind of middles by grabbing this bit and this bit, so they overlap, and I can kind of go with that, but I don't really, it's not really stone brick now, is it? Which is what I was asked for, and it is. There's just this whole constant battle with it. When, I mean, for example, let's do this, right? So, let's send it the grass texture. Oh yeah, it was really transfixed with terrain at one point. I think it's that one. Hello? Yeah, I think I must have confused it when I think I must have stopped it. Because if you know, I think it just ignored the fact that I said that, so I might have to try that again. I mean, what is that top right thing already? I mean, what the actual F is that? I don't need to see the rest of it. It's already shit. And how are those tiles 100 by 100? And it also takes so freaking long. See, I don't know about you. I mean, I know it hasn't quite finished drawing, but that does not meet the requirement I asked for. It took a small subsection and put borders around it. That's not what I asked for. It's made some potential border, which you could argue is these two here. Where are the... There are no corner tiles, numbnuts. And the stone only. No. But you can see why that you sit there going, I don't mind, but I can try. But this thing, I mean, it just seems to be a battle of wits, really. In that, I mean, I can already see from this, what the actual is this? How does this answer that question? I mean, it has now made a more solid looking one for the bottom right hand corner. I mean, maybe that tiles? Yeah! I mean, to be truly honest, at least bobbins do what the you tell them to do. But it's like having the AI seems to be almost deliberately trying to find ambiguities and ways to claim it's done what you've said, but actually not done any of it at all. And it's kind of like, I haven't got the willpower to fight you for this. I really haven't. So, hello. You know, somehow bobbins suddenly seem far more sane, you know? Thanks, mister. Speak to you later. I need a couch that isn't still wet. Now, I know I'm an older person and the bits of me maybe are not at peak condition. But I have a dog, a little black dog in fact, who, having drunk some water, often spews it back up. And, well, I don't know whether I was asleep, because I have napped occasionally after all, whether I somehow ignored him doing it and didn't realise what he'd done. I think it's him, because it doesn't smell like pee. But it does smell like it's been inside somebody. So I'm thinking he drank some water and honked it up. And he does do it pretty quickly. So it has a bit of a smell, but it's not like puke, right? That was over 30 hours ago, and my couch is still wet. The problem was, and you'd think, now, I do mean this genuinely. For those of you who've never suffered some of this, you can be in a house filling with smoke and not realise it's filling with smoke because it does it, if it does it really slowly. So if all the doors are shut between you and the fire can really build up quite well and the smoke can permeate a lot. But if you're, say, looking at this and you're concentrating hard on this, your visibility to there remains. You don't notice that everywhere else is getting a little bit hazy. I did that one as a kid. And, well, I obviously didn't notice until I got up to go for a pee. And it felt like my trousers were wet. And I'm like, well, I need a pee, so my trousers shouldn't be wet. I don't remember wetting myself. I mean, surely I've not got to this stage of life where that's a thing. But it was more up my butt, so it was almost above the butt crack, kind of waist to butt crack area that was wet, than my actual butt. So I'm fairly confident it was not me. Now, I can't rule out it wasn't me, but that's like, 0.00001% chance that it was me. Which leaves dog. But as I said, it's 30 hours later, and it's still damp. To the point, I am currently sitting out here with any trousers on, because my trousers are in the wash. And I couldn't find my other ones, and life was short, and I had a shower, and so I'm all clean and lovely, and I do not want to be sitting in damp patches. But it's still really damp. And there's not a lot I can do about it. Can't really put half a couch in the in the oven or against the radiator, because really can't. But yeah, so I constantly feel like I've got a wet butt at the moment. I haven't, it's dry, I keep checking, but it feels like it's not, if you know what I mean. Got one more to go. So yes, the worst thing is I don't remember him doing it, and that's so unlike me. It's either that or I heard him, and then because I didn't feel anything when he was behind me, but normally if it's behind me, I kind of leap like I'm about to be shot, in case I'm about to wear something I don't want to. So it would be unusual for me to not notice, but it's the second time it's happened, so beginning to feel slightly suspicious of dog, you know. The only reason he pukes it up is because he hasn't learnt how to burp. He just can't seem to burp. So if he gets a bit of wind behind it because he drank it too quick, he chucks it up, and then, well, if it's food, he re-eats it. So it's lovely, and it's one of the joys of being a dog owner. Slightly unpleasant, has to be said. Would rather he didn't, to be fair. I need that one. Right. Moses parts the sea. Right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. In. 1, 2, 3. In. Go away. Here. Come play with a fly zapper. What were we saying about swearing and... Why am I untwisting them all? Because I'm a fucking donut. Because this was not the layer. There's another layer of... I've got another layer of brown bits to do first. Queen, one of the few bands who managed to make the use of the clap machine not sound like crap. Right, let's try this again, shall we, children? Now we're on the right row of stuff to do it with. Oh! Blimey. I thought it was a different song for this. I thought it was Pinball Wizard for a minute. Actually, that's an interesting thought. What have you got on? Actually, screw this. Let's listen to this. I understand that problem. I remember them doing this song, but there we go. It is them. I can assure you it is them. There's some very distinct voices that you recognise, but I didn't realise they'd done this. So in case you are not aware, this is a band called the Flying Pickets, and they do a cappella stuff. And they did a cappella back before it was kind of made popular by Pitch Perfect and you know, various people. And they generally do kind of like 70s, 60s kind of music. So I've never heard this, but they do some great stuff. So I know this is near finished, but let's go on to a slightly better one. This is a good one. This one you will recognise, but just maybe not yet. I love to play this really loud. If you ever see any of their videos, which you can find on YouTube somewhere, they do have a really good sense of humour as a whole, so which is always cool. bet you who's saying this? Actually, it must be him. Probably a better video than it is a song, I think, is the short answer. I swear this is a mix of two different bands. Because they're not Australian. But this is supposed to be an album that they produced, so the last one was definitely the right Flying Picket. But it's got a picture of them and everything, so I know it's the right one. But sorry, but I was after this music. Hang on. See, I don't remember them. And the fact that it says lives from the UK, they were British. This could be them. No. No, it's not them. This is the American ones, because there's two lot. It's a bit like there's a group called the Spinners. But it's not usually the ones that you think of, so they have got the ones I'm thinking of, but they've only got one of them, and it's not the one I wanted. Isn't that? This could be good. I know all the words to this, so I will not upset you by actually doing them, because there's many different languages, by the way. We've got a couple of them. I like that one as well. And don't worry, they're not all like this. There are some very varied things that they did. 1, 2, 5, 6. Oh yeah, slightly weird music, I appreciate that. I am getting bored of this one. That's not what I set as the next one. It's not. Fine, I'll click on them individually. I hope it's not a wealthy man. He's trying not to laugh, by the way. That'll do. Right. It's Collier's round. And let's muck it back in my engine. wanted. It's not one I wanted next. Did that one. There's some other ones. Oh well. I don't want to play that one because it sounds like the end of a stream. Oh well. It's funny how some of these things, they have so much of it, and then there's so much they don't have, if you know what I mean. Let's get back to this. Hello! Hello! How are you? You should be so grateful I'm not singing. Three weeks, that's a long time. Well, I'm glad you come to join us. I always appreciate having someone to talk to, so, you know, the mic is open, so to speak. Feel free. Only things off limits are things that would get me banned, you know. It's always a good time to pull out any crafting projects of your own to do and craft along with us, you know. As someone who lives alone, well, as much as alone as you can when you have two dogs, it's always worried me when you get people who can't cope with alone time. And because, well, time in your own head is a good thing. Time to do what you want to do. Time to eat what you want to eat. Time to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning if you've got the urge. If you want to paint the kitchen, you go do that, right? To not have to worry about somebody else is really quite an important thing. And I know people who literally could not bear to be... Yeah, everybody... Well, no, I feel it's normal. Now, I'm not saying it is normal because, well, I'm clearly not. But one of the things that I find strange and hard to understand is the people who cannot... You know, you get all these things about, you know, could you stay home for a week for 100,000? Oh, darling, a week? A week? Abso-freaking-lutely. Well, and I think one of the things that obviously, you know, especially when you've married them, it can be difficult to have alone time. But this is why we all have hobbies and things to do. You need things that are purely your things. You need, you know, even if that's, whether that's sitting on a computer with a pair of headphones on and doing your thing and shooting people or whatever it is you do, right? Or whether it's going out somewhere and, you know, bird watching, stargazing, you know, all of these kind of things. Something that you do that is purely just you. Now, it's not that your partner hates it. They don't have to hate it. But you need as you say, you need that bit of space to go away and hear your brain cells, what your brain wants to do, what you know. So if you want to get up and eat, you know, cake for breakfast and toast for dinner and, you know, whatever, you do that. It is such a good thing for your brain to do the strange, weird things that it didn't like to do because someone else is around, or it thought that, you know, like I said, if you want to paint your kitchen at 2 o'clock in the morning, well, when there's no one else about, it's the perfect time to be painting kitchens because you're not disturbing anybody. And if you're in the mood for it, now's your time. One of the things that I very much noticed about myself is some of my most domesticated moments happen in the range of 2 till 5 in the morning. I will suddenly decide that that floor's minging and I want to scrub it. I'm not normally possessed by this thought, but between 2 and 5 in the morning, I can be possessed by this thought and want to do all of the housework and do all the things. Don't want to do them during the day because that's a waste of good day, that is, you know. But I've painted my kitchen at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had a tin of paint. I was been meaning to do it and I kept putting it off, And one night, 2 o'clock in the morning, my brain went, fuck it, let's paint the kitchen. So I did. And I made a good job of it too. I didn't even have a ladder. I just climbed on all the countertops and painted the ceiling and everything. It was great. I was like a little spider monkey around my own kitchen. Yeah, that's always very true. And it is also the time, say, for example, when I was married, my ex-husband ate everything. But two things: cauliflower, and by proxy cauliflower cheese, and macaroni cheese. Now, pasta in a cheese sauce, all up for that. Couldn't do macaroni cheese. Don't know what it was. Couldn't do it. Now, there are lots of things that I really don't like. Basically vegetables and fruit and fish. But it was always great when he was away because, well, I could have macaroni cheese and cauliflower and all the things that he didn't really like, didn't like the smell of. And it doesn't even have to be the kind in a box. It could be you buy the macaroni pasta and make your own cheese sauce. You know, you get a bit of flour and butter and combine them and make a bit of a roux, add milk to it, add a shit ton of cheese. No, he still would not eat it. No, wouldn't touch it. And it still remains to be the only thing he does not eat. But pasta shells in a cheese sauce, oh, he'll eat that. Well, exactly. I mean, that one, you know, the macaroni cheese is a little bit freaky. Because he likes pasta and he loves cheese. You'd think he'd be all over it. I can kind of understand cauliflower. I have a special loathing for broccoli, you know. I know how you feel. And frankly, the more cheese in it, the less mac, more cheese, you know. But it is kind of weird. My mother did, but he never had her macaroni and cheese, so he wouldn't know. And believe me, her mac and cheese was something really, really quite vile. There was no cheese in her mac and cheese, I think, is the quickest way to explain where it started to go wrong. You know, it was excessively overcooked pasta in a sauce that had no cheese in it. I think that kind of summarises her mac and cheese. Well, she told you how to make the sauce, so that's a good start. I mean, it's the same as, you know, if you are used to sharing pizzas and they like X on their pizza but not Y, and you really like Y on your pizza, then it is always the opportunity to have a Y pizza with you know, all the things that you enjoy and not the shared dream pizza. It's really not hard. I make a lot of my... I am capable, let's be more accurate, I am capable of making a lot of things. I enjoy cooking. But this is how I also worked out I was more depressed than I thought I was. I haven't actually cooked anything in months. I've been eating sandwiches. Yeah. Mind you, one of the... nothing... there are three words that put the fear of God up every British person in the world. Biscuits and gravy. Now, knowing that your biscuits aren't biscuits and that your gravy is not gravy... Exactly, ham and pineapple pizza is awesome, but not everyone shares this idea. And so, you know, it is that golden opportunity. Well, you see, you have friends here. We would happily share a pizza with you. Although, obviously, we want most of it for yourself. That's fine. We'd order a load. I quite like a bit of chilli on it. Not chili as in meat chili, as in chilies on it. Enough black pepper to kill a small army also works very nicely. Oh, chip butties. Oh, chip butty. Think of like steakhouse chips, which are kind of chunks of potato, the real thick, but not French fries, like beefed. You know, so that they're like 1 centimetre cube, but long sticks of potato that are then fried like French fries in a bread and butter sandwich. It is the most glorious thing. And it sounds steroid-induced French fries, right? Well, it is. We Brits delight in putting shit in a sandwich. We will frankly put fucking anything in a sandwich. Although I don't think we do puddings in a sandwich. We do have bread and butter pudding, but that's not a pudding. And we do have spotted dick, which is also kind of a thing, and I've just lost internet. Hang on. There we go. There we go, everybody's back now. Okay, so, yeah, obviously the whole idea of a butty sandwich was too much. It went off to go and get one. So, dipping your eggs in soldiers. Again, a soft boiled egg where you basically take a buttered slice of bread, cut it into strips, and dunk the strips in there, which are the soldiers, by the way, is so epically brilliant and so simple. But we Brits put anything in a sandwich, frankly, except for pudding and breakfast cereal. We don't tend to put those in a sandwich. But we will, frankly, put anything else. I have literally... I'm trying to think of anything that I would normally... I haven't put pizza in a sandwich, but I've kind of made a pizza sandwich. But yeah, some of my personal favourites are toasted cheese and onion sandwiches. So you put in a excessively fat layer of cheese, some raw onion, and you chuck it in like a George Foreman grill or a sandwich maker, which, before you ask, is basically a grill that chops your bread in half and seals it. Cook it till it's nice and toasty brown. And then you have melted cheese and onion sandwiches. Now, they don't sound specifically brilliant. I mean, they don't sound hopefully too disgusting either. But there is something about melted cheese. So yeah. So yes, I don't know. There is, and yes, talking of food makes everybody hungry, including me. So worry not. Yeah, I need to reconnect my speaker bar by the looks of it. Fine. Let's see how this works. Because my thing stopped doing things. You've connected to everything. So there we go. But yeah, as you say, it's very difficult. I mean, a chip butter really is a simple delight. Crisp sandwiches go the same, to be honest. The right crisp, obviously the wrong crisp can be horrible, but you know, the right crisps can be a great and glorious thing. And of course, there is nothing better in the entire universe than a bacon butty. Because bacon butties are sent from God. So hopefully you can all hear me again now and that the world has returned to normality. Did kind of kill the conversation a bit, but that's a good thing. Thank you, Mickey Gets Me. It's always hard to tell how well the stream recovers from a bit of a fart, so... Have any of you watched the latest series of Sabrina, not the Teenage Witch one, the new one? It's a Netflix thing, I think. Hang on. I think it's a Netflix thing. Hang on. Okay. Okay, the short answer is crochet stitches have a very unique look to them. So if you've got sections where the thread goes up and over and under, you know, and does kind of a wave in and out, and then the next one goes over the ones that it went under, so they kind of go round making a kind of as it goes along. I mean, you're welcome to post a picture of some of it on Discord, and we can cast aspersions. Now it could be that it could be woven, it could be knitted, it could be crochet, it could be tatting, it could be the thing where you delete threads and sew around and bind it, which I always want to have a go at. So there's a whole host of other things that it could be, right? But it would really depend on some of the finite details are the differences. So you can have crochet that looks like spiders, so that's half a spider, right? Where you end up with like a clump in the middle with legs coming off. Crochet does that, but they look very different. Now, part of the other problem is that one of the other things that can suffer from is that crochet is not something that can be done by machine. Technically, bobbin lace can. Now, when I say technically, it's kind of not the same. And often it kind of has some characteristics you would not do as a human lace maker. And the best way to explain that would be if you've got a filled in square, bobbin lace made manually will use a cloth stitch. The machine will kind of weave a figure of 8 bobbin around the 2 pairs at the edges, and it looks more like someone did it on a sewing machine, but not quite. So it really would depend. But if you want to stick a picture in Discord, I'd love to see it. Because I am a multi crafty dude. And one of the other problems with lace making is that there are many different varieties. So whereas this particular style is good for making strips. Yes, it's on the about page, or you can type !Discord or !Socials for the whole shebang. So oh, it's not got my Discord in it. Do !Discord, sorry. I thought I'd included it in that one. I'll add it later. Sorry about that. So try !Discord. I know that one definitely has it, because, well, that's what it's there for. Ah. That is hang on, let me zoom in more on that. know, I'm looking at it. Right. I would go I would potentially say that is machine made lace. At the bottom of the motif in the middle, there's like a V shape with kind of a filled inny bit, and the filled inny bit looks a bit weird, and it's not a normal bobbin lace type thing. Same with the filigree kind of swirly bits around the edge. There's something weird about them. So I'm going to guess it's either that or it's crochet. But it doesn't look like crochet, as you say. Because the solid bits look more woven. So I would go, this is machine lace. But it is very beautiful. Can I share it on screen? So that people who are not on Discord can see? So yeah, if you want, I can share that and everyone can see what we're talking about. I do like it. I think that's really quite pretty. Swirlies around the edge. Definitely have a kind of swirl that you don't normally see in bobbin lace. I mean, there is a chance that it's handmade, but I don't think so. Again, the edges of the cloth stitch don't have the standard look for bobbin lace. Hard to put into words, really. Normally with cloth stitch, you have like the cloth square, but where the pins are, you have little round lumps where the pins were, because, well, that's what the pins were. And it looks almost like fingers. It's kind of like if you had two hands, you'd have like the edge would look more like a set of, but in a row of fingers poking out, because that's where the pins go. And even over time, they still show up as little lumps. And if you look at each square, the square is square. Now, it's not the thing where you start off with a sheet of fabric and delete threads and things. Yeah, I mean, but it is very beautiful. Just because it's machine made doesn't make it any less good. It just, I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be quite a bit of work to do, says the girl who's making a net curtain. So, um, yeah, I'm definitely I'm as confident as I can be that that's machine lace, but it is very pretty. Um, because one of the other strange parts to it is that let's call it the mesh work that it's based upon. Normally in bobbin lace, you would have a pair of threads that are twisted. But if you then look at the cloth stitch section, those threads almost seem to be just one single strand of thread. But I don't think it is. But then the cloth stitch isn't right for that. So it is kind of... Hence I think it has to be machine lace. That kind of lesser dense area. In the centre of the bottom you've got the round bit, and then there's like a diamond shape with a V, and then a little square of lesser filled in stuff. That lesser filled in stuff is not traditional in any lace work that I've seen, and the swirlies that go around the edge, they have too much directionality in face work. In bobbin lace, they would normally not point in the direction they're going, but more like Lego bricks move across. So the threads would not have directionality like that. But it is very pretty. I do like that. I'd have bid on that as well, actually. Almost looks churchy, but without the churchy, if you know what I mean. It's got a hint of churchy to it. Yeah. Some of the close-ups you've posted, definitely, I'm going to go with machine lace. But it is very, very beautiful. You've definitely got a good buy there, I think. So yes, very beautiful. Love that. Estate sales can often be a source of very interesting finds. I mean, God help the day I go. They should just kind of lock the door and call it the Museum of Crafts, really, but... Because pretty much every room, bar the bathrooms and the kitchen, has got a ton of crafty stuff in it. If you hang on a sec, I'll show you what I mean. Well, let me show you this. Okay, grab this and put a darker thing down. because you'll never see it otherwise. Right. If I zoom in on this, you'll see what I mean. So if you look, where's a pointy stick? Right. If you look here, as this goes down, there's little bumps along the edge of the cloth stitch where pins came in. And even in here, despite the mistakes, you can still see that it's two threads intertwining and travelling across each other, making a mesh. And when it comes to the cloth stitch, you can see that those two threads then move through it. On yours, this looks like one thread, and then it goes backwards and forwards a couple of times, and then maybe goes out the other side. It's two, whereas here you have individual threads. That is not normal for bobbin lace. This is kind of the normal done thing, is that you receive your inputs and then wiggly backwards and forwards. So for this whole section, the first two pair that was in here would have gone wiggle, 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 wiggle all the way down and been the last two to leave, right? At the, at this point here, because they're made in triangles. So if I move over this way, you start at the top corner here, like this, at this corner, and you work down and you make a triangle like this, and then you turn it and make another. So, the pair that comes in here goes down here. But as you can see, at the edge, it's not, while they are squares, they're not squares like your squares, because it doesn't kind of work that way. I haven't got a bigger thing with big chunks in it to really show you, but where it joins, there's also there's like a pin spot, and you can see that there's like a pin spot which is there, just where this would go, like this. The pin would go in here, because the thread either comes in before it or out after it. It can't just pass through, you have to stab it. And so that definitely looks like machine lace, but it's still a very beautiful thing. So there you go. Hopefully that explains a bit better. My semi-expert opinion. I won't call it an expert opinion for obvious reasons, but that would be why I would feel that that's a machine-made piece of lace, but because they don't pin everything as they go, and so do things slightly differently. Also takes a heck of a lot less time. Oh no, we're not there yet, I don't think. Hang on. Yes, we are. Blimey, Mike and Mechanic. Something's not right here. There it is. Why can't I ever see which way round everything's done? Still not right. Something's not right here somewhere. I think it's just been grumpy. Let's put the pin in and see what happens. I breathed funny. Anyone who's older enough will also understand that. I breathed and my body didn't like it. Tried to choke on itself. So we have completed just over 26 inches because that's the 26-inch mark, and then we've got all of this extra chunk. So I'm going to call it a day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Not that that's the main reason, to be fair. But I didn't go to bed last night. The joys of being not at work, you can stay up if the mood takes you, and the mood took me, so I was up. So I've been a bit tired all day, and I could really do with a good night's sleep. So that I'm going to go and do. So I apologise to you. I mean, it's not, you know, hideous sin or anything. I'm allowed to end my stream after all. But I'm going to... Oh, I'm focused, thank you. Yep, grab that for the obligatory... Oh, arseholes! I do this every time I have seen a faux pas. Let me explain said faux pas. These legs here need to be twisted, and they're not, which means I need to undo the 3 rows here, well, down here, which includes this one, so I'll have to undo that. Tomorrow Liz will do that. Tomorrow Liz will fix that, because it's 2 o'clock. I mean, I could undo these. Well, to be honest, it's not as bad as it sounds. So I could, if it had only been these 3 on the right, for example, it would be under a handful of stitches, twist these and put them back. It's not ideal. Gonna kind of go with that. It's not ideal. But the 3 pins here at the end So I have to follow that line down, and so I would undo those, but that pin, so actually I don't need to undo that spot, I just need to do this section back, twist these, and then redo it. So to be honest, it wouldn't take a huge amount of time. Oh, fuck it. Let's do it. Do it, do it, do it. Don't leave it for tomorrow, Liz, because tomorrow Liz will not like you. Let's do it now. So, we're going to need some of these. Start here. So, one advantage of lace making over many other hobbies is that when you undo, the movement is the exact reverse of what you did to do it. Well, that's kind of true with a lot of things, but some are a lot harder to undo than it is others, and lace making is reasonably easy. Now, it is usually about this time that you discover you didn't actually do what you thought you did, and so the undoing then doesn't work, at which point you swear like a navvy because working it out is harder than it should be. But it is not grossly hideous. We have undone more and done worse already this strip, because we have made the vow that if we've spotted mistakes that we will go back and fix them. But obviously, and tried not to put too many limitations on that. So, for example, I need 1, 2, 3. I can undo these 3. Need one more, possibly. Right, so these 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we can redo these 3. Right, you go back in here. We'll need you again in a minute, so put you to one side. So we need to undo a couple more layers of this. one more to go. Now, this actually is not the right one. So I think we need you. See, that didn't undo right somehow. So now we need to twist these. And redo it. Missed. There you go. Two, three, four, five, six. Let's roll this back a bit because we want to check. We want a good view of what we've been up to. Get the picture. No more focus, thank you. Let's have a look now. That looks a lot better. She says glaring in case there's something else. I don't think there is, you know. So there you go. Tomorrow Liz doesn't have to do that now. But there you go. So we are now done for the day. I should be back tomorrow in about 12-ish hours time. I say ish because, you know, I'm only good at ish kind of stuff. So let's see. No, I don't have anyone that I'm necessarily going to give you to, unless you want to watch EP, who was in here earlier. In fact, there you go. I shall raid EP and doing a hit and run really. So let's raid EP. So yes, but I hope you have a good time and thank you for joining me this evening. Take care everybody. Bye bye.